Okay, change the lighting. That's better. Welcome back to me. Or welcome back, but welcome back to me really, because I've kind of disappeared. I don't remember the last time I uploaded a video. I was editing one and then I kind of got out of the routine, and then my sleeping issues have been issues. So like started like a treatment and trying to figure out like the right dosage so that I can stay awake and function and actually feel like I've recovered from sleep. So there's that. I was making this video so I could talk about that. So I could say that I'm entering the Gabby Reads Summerween read-a-thon for the last, I think this is the 5th time. She hosts a read-a-thon during summer so we can get into those like kind of like Halloween-y vibes, which this is perfect for. And I missed it last year. I think I had found out about it for the first time a week after it had happened. And technically you can join in late, but I just had too many books at the time that I was reading. So this year I'm going to be doing it, and I'm going to try and follow the prompts. Now, again, you don't have to follow the prompts, but it's just there for if you want to try it. So the first one is reading a book in the dark. Now, usually I read in the dark anyways. I usually read before bed. So that one's an easy one. Challenge does start July 5th through July 11th. Since I'm filming this July 4th, it will be starting tomorrow. So the first day would be reading in the dark. The second one would be reading a thriller or horror book. Now, because of my sleeping issues, I've already started reading the 20 Years Later by Charlie Donlea. It's a thriller on Prime Reads. So I'm liking it so far. Only about 16% in. So far, one of the characters' name is Avery, and she's been hosting a show, like a morning show, I think. And she's done really well, like outstanding amount of work. She has really high ratings, but the network doesn't want to pay her that amount. So she's supposed to be getting a really good deal. And like part of her next segment was like she had just done a like how to save yourself from like if your van gets sunken into like a lake or something. And she like recreates that, and how they have like a specialist there on the show showing her like this is what you would do if that situation occurred. And so the ratings go really high up, and so then she has like another segment she wants to do revolving like some sort of like mysterious like finding where like a victim's from a 9/11 accident, their DNA is found. And so we're following her, and then we're following another person named Victoria Ford, who reaches out and calls her sister saying that she needs help. Now that sister, I think 20 years later, is still trying to, I guess, get justice for her sister. So that's the one I'm currently reading. And so that will be for like day 1, day 2, if I haven't finished it yet. Day 3 prompt is to get a book with a night sky on it. I would be reading the short story, The Canterville Ghost by Oscar Wilde. It does have like a little sky on it. It's supposed to be a humorous little short story. Oscar Wilde is the same author who wrote The Picture of Dorian Gray. I did read like the PG version, I think, not the like actual one. I do eventually want to read that one too, but this is the next one that I want to read for the read-a-thon. And then the third one would be read a book with 5 words in the title. I think she just did a recent like Summerween like book recommendations, because I know she's done the challenge too. I'll put her name below because I don't remember. She recommended A Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. No, actually, Gabby read this book. No, I'm tripping. Gabby read this book, and it's something really interesting. Basically, it's these, I think, kids finding their parents, like, old VHS tape, and they find out that somebody was recording, like, her parents, like, burying a body, and so that's them finding out, and, like, that's what the book is about. And I was like, oh, that's fascinating. And I really like the cover. The last one, which is the one I had the hardest amount of time with trying to find, because it's kind of hard to tell. Most of them don't tell you if it's a summer read. One of the books that I've seen, that I can remember that I've seen recommended, but I've already read it, was the You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. That one was really good. I really liked it, but I already read it. So, and it was a library checkout. So I'm going to be reading the Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. This story goes into Leah, who's a marine biologist, and she leaves for a routine, like, submarine expedition under the sea, and she comes back to land, but her wife notices that she's not the same person that she was. Something happened under the sea, and she now has to try and find out what's going on, like, what happened, why is she acting odd. Hopefully that audiobook is in Libby, and I already checked it out, so I might get to it ahead of time if I don't read it within the week. No, I mean, I'll read it pretty fast. It took a lot in me to not read it this past week, because I had just finished Baby X, another thriller. I would say it's like a 3.5 stars. I'm not a big fan of, like, necessarily romance in thrillers. It just depends how it's done, but I usually don't. It's not my favorite thing. So those are the books that I want to read for this read-a-thon, and I'm super excited. Feeling the Halloweeny spirit. All I wanted to say, hope you're doing well, and I will be back to, like, update which books I really liked, like what my ratings were, and if I managed to even finish those 4. Or if I did more. I don't know. Well, goodbye. Thank you. I actually also did a orange purple makeup to sort of match the Halloween Simpsons shirt I have that I thrifted, I think, last year. Actually, we need some more light in here. Ooh, much better, actually. And we're gonna put that there. Sure, you can see it better now. The rest of the house is a mess, but we'll deal with that later. For now, I'm gonna be reading, or continuing to read, the book, and I'm gonna see if they have the audiobook, because I do want to crochet some more. So if I can continue off from where I'm at, that'd be great. If not, that's fine, because I stayed up last night watching the season 4, episode 4, I think, of The Boys, and so I was watching it, I was crocheting, and then I realized that this looks more like a little bunny head instead of a chibi Totoro, which is what I was aiming for. I think I'm gonna cut out the felt and make it a bunny, and then remake the chibi Totoro, because the ears are supposed to be more pointed and they're supposed to be a little closer. Okay, I got tired of holding it, so I also decided that on top of those things, I'm gonna also try to see if Tony wants to stream tonight or later today the Tiny Glades game, because he's really into, like, the building games. I kind of am, but, like, I just get stuck because I don't feel like I'm that creative when it comes to, like, terraforming things. Like, my Animal Crossing island is still, like, it basically has the same structure as it did before. I added a bit of clips, but that was like, and like I messed up the rivers. But it's not normally something that I'm into, but I feel like this one kind of makes it easy, like super easy. It looks really relaxing. So I was hoping we could play that. And then, what else did I want to do? I'm hoping to finish this book. I'm surprised at how far I've gotten. I forgot how short thrillers feel. They're usually like around 300 pages. And lately I have been reading like 400 to 600 page books. So they feel like they're dragging on. But that's just my ADHD. But so far in the book, we found out that, I forgot to say that the point of views keep changing. It was confusing because it doesn't tell you whose point of view you're getting. You're getting like the date and like the location. So you're supposed to figure it out from there. So now that I've gotten the hang of it, I kind of understand. Basically, besides Avery, who is trying to figure out, she's trying to make a segment about Victoria Ford, who's like the first person from whose DNA has been identified from the 9/11 event. Because she's doing that, the FBI reaches out to another guy who had been on a different case. Well, had been on the case regarding Victoria Ford 20 years back. Hence why it's called 20 years later. I meant to say that the case was closed. So now he's being asked by the FBI because he actually was forced into retirement because of an incident involving his partner who dies during like an operation. The love of his life, Megan, somehow is like the cause, or like he seems to imply that somehow she was involved in why his partner dies, and it just started a scandal which forced him into retirement and out of the FBI. So he gets reached out to. He's exiled himself to Jamaica, except for one day where he goes up to New York and just to see Megan, and then he like feels really guilty and then he'll come back. So the FBI reaches out to him and they're like, hey, can you look into this Avery Mason? And he's like, why? What's like the TV lady? Like, what about her? And they're like, oh, it's because she's looking into Victoria Ford and they're gonna end up back at that original case that you were on. And Avery Mason, actually, her dad was a thought out con artist, and it would look bad for them because they had caught him, but he escaped. And so they don't want that information to be leaked. They want him to follow her as she's trying to find this information so that they can find out, because they think that she's still in contact with her father. And so if she is, they're gonna try and catch him. So that's where we're at right now. So I'm just like fascinated because I'm understanding like how things are starting to connect. Of course, there's like certain information that still hasn't been revealed, but I'm very, what's the word? Intrigued. So I'm gonna continue reading that, and I'll give you an update if I finish it or not. So I'm officially at 30%, and I just wanted to note that one, they mentioned 4th of July, which is yesterday, which I thought was funny. But even funnier that the homicide case that's tied to Victoria, that, you know, the Rick and Avery Rick is revisiting that case, I should say. And he's talked to like Dr. Lockhart, who's telling him about the autopsy report. We'll just say, I'm not going to mention what happened, but it parallels a lot of what was happening in that boys episode. That's all I'm going to say. I will not give no details, but I think that's so funny. Anyways, back to reading. today I am giving Deserted Island giveaway vibes. Kind of summary for the Summerween, but also we are in hurricane season. Barrel's making its way through. It's supposed to be hitting Sunday or Monday. Or today's Sunday. I'm forgetting because I didn't read yesterday. Yesterday was Saturday. Anyways, I've been spending today prepping, like helping clean, and I cooked a bunch of vegan burgers just in case, because last time I had a hard time eating because everything that I had gotten required cooking. And luckily this time around we happened to have just bought a bunch of snacks at Sam's, and I have stuff for sandwiches, and I'm good. We'll be fine. I'm having Tony pick up some ice for the coolers, and we have lights, or we have flashlights. Devices are being charged. I have a Switch charged. Steam Deck is charging. Kindle is charged. So I think we're gonna be good. I just think it's funny that I found this shirt that I wanted to change into for it, because, you know, feeling like a deserted island if the power goes out. I'm going to be continuing off reading 20 Years Later. I think I'm about 44% complete. I didn't read yesterday because we were at Galveston. That's going to be a different vlog, but we just had a lot of fun. It was just very exhaustingly hot, and there's no way I wasn't going to do anything after I got back. So my setup has changed a bit. I did finally end up getting shelves because I absolutely do not like this nightstand. I like drawers. This one doesn't have like a study thing, it's just shelves, and I don't like it. I do want to get more art so it's more decorated, so it doesn't look as plain, and I'll probably check on Etsy because that's some of the pieces that I really liked, some like art prints. And then I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, and then we also, like 2 weeks ago, we ended up getting another like reading chair and a matching ottoman for $15 at Savers, which is an absolutely great deal. So that's actually on Tony's corner. And then we actually I ended up helping him build the shelf Friday. Yeah, I think it was Friday. So we have to redo that. So literally everything behind you, it's literally like the whole mess of just crap that we just don't have shelves, or we just haven't put into place. Like, I'm about to like having to redo one of the shelves in the closet so I can put the yarn, because I'm overflowing with it. But like every time I get re-inspired to do a different project, I just end up buying the yarn colors that I want to use, which is great, but then I don't usually start the projects right away. I just like buying the materials for it, because then I end up just finding another project or hyperfixation to do. And yeah, so I'm trying to be better about it. Like I said, I'm doing like amigurumis right now, and they're not necessarily time consuming. The only one that's time consuming right now is the little chick with the hat, because it has so many pieces that I have to sew, and the sewing is probably my least favorite part of the process. Like, it used to be like with projects that it would be weaving in the ends. Like, I know most people don't like that part, but for amigurumis you can kind of just stuff it in different directions into the like the body of the plush, so it's easier to hide. But it's the multiple pieces, it's the sew in it if it's not already there that's annoying. So I'm hoping that as with practice I like understand better ways, or maybe do it in a way that's like a little faster. I get used to, or maybe I just get used to it so it doesn't feel as tedious. But yeah, that's all for right now. That's the only update I have. Hoping to get through most of the book. Right now it's 2 o'clock. And you know, if the storm happens, I'll just have more time to read and work on projects. The power goes out at our lab all the time, so, and I doubt we'll be able to even drive to work because it's supposed to hit Monday. So I'm just going to be reading this, and I'll update you once I've gotten farther in. Was on page 117 last I remember seeing it, and now on page 182. I usually change the counter because I like seeing the page counts, but then I focus too much on reading the pages, and it's just, I take it off sometimes. So, and then I decided, so I didn't read as much because I was falling asleep. I ate lunch, and then because I ate lunch, it usually makes me fall asleep. So, doesn't matter what I eat, I usually fall asleep. So I was trying to push through. I think I dozed off a little bit. I did have shitty sleep last night, so that doesn't help. Like my medication does help me stay awake, but I still need to have good like sleep hygiene. So I moved around a little bit, made some tea, Earl Grey with like a bit of almond milk. That was good. Still dozing off. And then, I decided to do the reading sprints that Gabby posted with Katie, Riley, Sarah, and Gavin. And I've seen Gavin's videos before, and his will pop up a lot, and I keep meaning to like watch some. I've never heard of Riley, but I do want to watch some of hers. But yeah, that's been fun. I read roughly an hour in between dozing off, and then had to help Tony get a cart for some groceries he got. And then, so that was for the first sprint I'm reading. For this second one, I am going to be playing Little Kitty Big City on Xbox Game Pass, just to change it up a little bit. I can't read, about to knock stuff down. I cannot read for that long because I will doze off again. So I kind of just try and change things up so that I'm stimulated differently. Maybe I'll crochet for the third one, or I'll go back to reading. Not sure yet. And then when I get bored, if I get bored of this game, I'll switch to a different one. But yeah, I'm liking the book so far. Right now, we found out that Avery has talked to Natalia, who was best friends with Victoria, who's the lady whose DNA was found in the rubble in like the 9/11 Twin Towers tragedy. She's talking to the detective, filled her in on like what he's discovered, because he has actually reviewed the case. Okay, he's like a little bit falling for her. Like they both find each other attractive, but like he hasn't said like he left to Jamaica. Like why did he escape his life basically? And so she's trying to like find out why, just out of curiosity, because she's just like, that's weird. Like, why would you go to Jamaica? You're back all of a sudden just for like helping me with this case for my show. So that's as far as I've gotten. Oh, but we did find out that Victoria's friend Natalia was a book publisher. She's very popular. Supposedly they were best friends, and that's honestly as much as I remember, because that's around the time where I was dozing and I just kept reading the same like page like 6 times, and I was just like in that like weird wave of a sleep attack where it's just like just falling over, just like I'm aware that I'm falling asleep, but I can't get out of it. because it's really hard to like because all I think about is sleep, and then it's very hard for me to get up right now and try and move around. Sometimes I can get out of it, but I'm still convinced that, oh, I can push through it. No, I can't. Okay.